cruising the internet the other night and I found a little LED 10 watt LED light, which I thought might replace this thing. It's a strip light, bulb still in there. This runs straight from the battery. I thought the less power we use the better, so I bought this on the internet. It wasn't much, a couple of quid I think. So first things first is pull the fuse. It's the same fuse that runs the courtesy light and the hazard lights. If I switch this on and then pull the fuse, as soon as that goes out I know I've got the right fuse. I think it's the fourth one from the driver's side, so we'll go and have a look. So before we start pulling fuses, we've got a little array of fuses here. Because I'm always worried about shorting stuff out, I've just got a very thin pair of long nose pliers covered with insulation tape so I can grab the fuse and pull them out. So here, let's try this one then. There we go, that's got it. So we thought it was the fourth. It's actually the fifth. We're in the back of the bus now, just to prove the point. Press the button. I know that's off now, but it's still not working, so we've done that correctly. So we unscrew this. On this one you just unscrew the button. The end comes off and the whole thing falls apart. There you can see you've got your strip light. Not quite sure how it's held in yet. And let me take off these two slip clips. Oh, I see, we've got a screw there and a screw there. So I'm going to have to get in front of the camera, unscrew them, and we'll look then at the connections we've got. The next time you see me, I'll be inside the bus again. We're doing this because when I shot taking out the old lights unit and putting these clips on, the camera wasn't working. So I'll talk you through it. I undo the two screws, the old light unit comes off, the wires from the old light unit to the bus are red and blue, held in place by insulation tape. Undo the insulation tape. So these clips are put in place and then this clips on, but where the original holes were, it meant that these little tags here were interfering with these clips going on and we just couldn't get them on. So I moved the one away furthest from the light switch in, screwed it in. Fortunately there's a bit of hardboard behind it, so it wasn't very complicated, and then fit this up, and the rest of it you'll see on video. Now the thing to remember when putting these clips in is not to over tighten them. If you over tighten them, they won't clip into the back of this. As you can see, we've got loads of wire. I've got a bit of heat shrinky stuff rather than insulation tape. Right, these wires are too light to put the same size spade terminal on as these. These wires are going to absorb far too much heat to melt and solder. So I am going to just simply twist them together and put a heat shrink wrap on them, which I'll do now. So this is one of those simplies. Put it in, close it down, pull, pulls off a bit of insulation for you. Do the other side the same. Put it in, close it down, strips off a bit of insulation. Of course we want slightly more than that, so there we go. That's the two done. Black to blue. Red to red. Not easier than, I mean, looks a lot easier to do than really, it really is just there. Now of course, I don't know if that's a good circuit or not. I can put the heat shrink on first to add a little more pressure, then I'll put the fuse in and check it. So I've cut two little lengths of the shrink wrap. The negative and blue one goes on slightly longer than needed. Bit of warmth. And as you can see, it shrinks right down. And then so that will actually help to improve the electrical contact. Same with this one. Remembering, of course, to keep the flames away from here and let that cool down before we try and screw it back up. So the last thing we want to do is start a fire in here with that. Right, the fuse is back in. Let's check this now, make sure we've got a good circuit. And we press, wow! Right, that is amazing. And in comparison with the old strip light, we can leave this on for several hours without damaging the starter battery. Question to ask ourselves is, do we want the button at that end or at that end? I think as we're getting in, we probably want to be able to find the button quite easily, so it's going to be a bit more clunky than I was hoping, I think, because, yes, right, so where we have it at the moment, one of these springs is catching on one of these little supports here to support the end from coming off. Let's have another go. That one's right there, and that one's right there, so they're both right. So let's try doing that then. No, we're not going to get away with that. We're actually going to have to drill another hole over here somewhere to make sure there's enough room between these to support the lamp when it's in place. I don't know if you can actually see these, but these bits here are in the way and stopping the clamps from clipping inside here. Unfortunate, but there we go. Right, first things first then, is what is this? Is it metal or not? So, let's unscrew it. Yeah, so that's been sitting in the sun. Let me just try that. Oops. We'll do it on the screw up side there, and then screw that. See what happens. Does it go in? Yes, it does. It bites. That's nice. That means that there's hardboard or cardboard or ply or something behind there. Makes life a lot easier. Oops. Right. My lecture about over tightening them. They do actually seem to be both very slightly over tightened so that they won't seat. But that could well be as much the fact that this is a curved surface here, and the edge of the lamp is catching on it. But we'll give it another try and see what the result is. There we go, they're in place there, that goes in there so it doesn't fall out here, that goes there, that goes, that startled me, that goes there and there, and we're done. I cursed it, didn't I, by saying simple. First time I shut the door it fell off. So I'm going to have a rethink and see what we can do. Cursed myself by saying it was easy. I've looked at the alternatives, and I can put a piece of wood behind it and make the lamp stand prouder so the clips clip on better. I can try and mount it some other way. I can use sticky tape and things like that. I decided none of that's going to look nice. What I'm going to try and do is put the gubbins from inside the LED light into the old lamp. Keep the old retro look, but still give us the 10 watts and LED lighting that'll help preserve the battery when we're not running. New lamp, old lamp. New lamp, lift off these little clips. Yep. Out comes the LED strap. Way to go. Okay. Right, so the on-off button here is on two little black clips, which means it's coming from this side. Well, obviously I can't get that out like that, because this won't go through the hole. I don't really want to smash this up, so I'm going to unsolder these two very quickly and move on from there. Yeah, that's that one done. Oh, that one done. Whoa. Now, that sort of squeezes in there and pops out. And then just to show you, you can pinch those two together. Out comes the light, out comes the switch. And those are the two little toggles that were the only thing keeping that in place. I don't know if you can see them just there and there. Now, the question we want to know the answer to is this the right size for this hole? Of course it isn't. So, to get all this stuff out of here, I'm first of all going to remove the tube itself. Then we've got these clips holding the wires in place, which I'm going to bend back over with a screwdriver, but I'm actually going to squash them back, because when the LED goes in there, we don't want them standing too proud. These clips and this need to be removed, so we just notice there are actually little pop rivet things on the back, so quickly remove them. That's all held in with sticky double-sided tape. So I'm going to get a bit of fishing line and come underneath it with some fishing line. So now with a bit of twine underneath there, we just bring that down as it comes. Now I'm going to unsolder these two. Okay. So now we've got the switch wired up, we can put this in place but not fix it down yet, because these two screws have to hold it in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some couple of bits of double-sided tape, right, we've got the switch wired in place. I'm going to fix this to the side of the bus before I put the LEDs on there, because I can't get through to the screws otherwise. And I want to solder the connections in before I put it up. So my next task is to do the soldering. The white bit to the switch, the red bit to the other side of the switch. Of course it doesn't need tinning. Doesn't need tinning because we took the old solder off there. There we go. Right, so switch wired in place. We get some double-sided padding and just stick that there. And that there. That lines up nicely there. The screw and everything is not quite that proud, so the LEDs will stand slightly further proud. But I'm actually going to put 2 on, a double layer, big as I can, essentially. Right, well, let's do that then, eh? Peel that one off there. That one off there. And just there. That one goes there. Meaning that when this is on there and hung up, it's all out the way and not likely to get scratched. Next thing you will see is this going up, being in place, and the cover going on, the original cover going on. So I'll get on with that now. Okay, so once again we've heat shrunk the positive and negatives. We've got the screws going up into the old screw holes. We've got the LED strip just dangling here. We've got some sticky pads here. We're just going to tighten up the screws properly now, making sure that the wires we don't want exposed are hidden. There we go, it's all nice and tight. LED strip, stick that in place where we want it. It's nice like that. There we go, good enough. Let's test the circuit. Wow! Okay. Diffuser on. Cap end on. A little knobbly bit on the screw that holds the cap end on. Watch your eyes again. Absolutely brilliant. Can leave that on for hours at a time now. Thank you for watching. The plastered finger tries again. We'll see what we're doing next.